conversation might trigger some people. I used to think that living a holistically healthy life meant being perfect and eating nothing but the cleanest foods, and I was wrong. Once I had my holistic health awakening and learned all about big food and all of these massive corporations and how they profit off of us being unhealthy and just what they do to our foods and how they manipulate us in so many ways, you can say that I was just nothing but disgusted and I didn't want to support those corporations. So between that and also becoming a certified holistic health coach, I started to prioritize eating nothing but the cleanest foods. And even at the beginning of this journey, I went fully vegan, but eventually had another awakening and realized that that just wasn't fitting for my body. And that's not to say that if you're vegan and it's working for you, that's awesome. This is just my experience. So yeah, I was vegan for a while and then I switched over to eating meat again, obviously quality meats. So I basically said goodbye to the days of binging on hot Cheetos and Cheez-Its and Hot Pockets and literally every type of junk food you can imagine. And I completely turned my health around and honestly my whole life around. My health improved dramatically. I regained energy again. I was able to successfully get off birth control, and thank you God for that. I was honestly just so proud of myself and just so happy with the results that I was able to get. So rewinding a little bit, I remember having a lesson when I was getting certified as a health coach through IAN, and the lesson was all about orthorexia and how to be conscious of it, how to spot it within ourselves and within others. And I remember thinking, yeah, right, I would literally never let eating clean and living a healthy life dictate my entire life. Well, I'm here to say that I definitely started falling down the rabbit hole. At IAN, you learn about primary food and secondary food. Primary food is the most important building block to your entire health. Primary food obviously comes first before your secondary food, and basically primary food consists of physical exercise, your spiritual connection, your relationships, and also your career and your passion. While your secondary food is basically just the food that you eat. So even though I had 6 months of learning these concepts, I began to just fully focus on secondary food and basically just obsessed over it. I remember there was this one story at the beginning of my journey of IAN. It was like one of the first lessons. I can't remember the teacher's name, but she was basically a doctor in Palo Alto. She would see patients that were diagnosed with cancer in like the later stages and see people that were suffering with a variety of health issues. So she started asking these patients, what are you eating at home? And all of these people were the most healthiest people on the outside. They would drink their organic green juice every morning. They would eat all organic foods, plant-based, like all of the things. And yet they were being diagnosed with cancer and all of these life-threatening illnesses. So this doctor basically took a step back and she was like, you know, if these people are eating the most picture-perfect diet, why is it that they are being diagnosed with cancer and all of these things? So she basically took it upon herself to do some more research and to dive more into holistic medicine and realize that there might be other aspects of health that they're missing. So she started experimenting with her clients. She started asking, you know, how is life at home? How is your relationship with your partner? How is your job going? How is your connection to God and your spiritual connections? And you wouldn't believe what her patients were saying. She basically had this major epiphany while she was getting these answers from these clients. She would find that these same clients that had cancer and all of these illnesses didn't even like their partners. Maybe they were in a toxic marriage or relationship and they just weren't really happy or fulfilled in their life. They had careers that they just weren't happy with. They felt drained. They felt like they weren't living in their full passion. They also weren't connected with God, and they basically neglected all of these other areas of their life because they didn't know that those things affected your health. So when she made the suggestion to her patients to maybe make adjustments in those areas, have conversations with your partner, maybe break up, if even though that seems so uncomfortable, she would suggest changing jobs and all of these things, and a lot of them didn't want to make those choices. They didn't want to disappoint people in their lives, but the patients that did decide to make those changes, they healed. So it's safe to say that that conversation alone has really changed the way I look at things, and I know that all of those aspects have a huge impact, even more so than food does. So don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, and I have definitely neglected a lot of those parts of myself, and I have focused on just eating clean and thinking that that is what's going to make the biggest impact on my life, which is why I really want to teach you guys all about balance and how really the whole and holistic is so important. I basically realized that the life I was living was not truly healthy when I would say no to going to restaurants because I was afraid of the restaurant using seed oils or using non-organic products. I even had this fear of sharing what I was eating on social media because I didn't want people to think that I wasn't eating clean enough, or maybe something that I thought was clean wasn't clean enough and I didn't want people to judge me for it. It makes me sad thinking about that because if I wasn't able to fully live truthfully on social media, like what is the real point in sharing yourself? So because of that, I really want to promise you guys that I'm always going to be transparent about my eating style and how I live and how I'm not perfect. I know that there are many people out there that maybe say they eat one way and they don't eat that way, and it's because of fear of what others will think about them, but that's just not a way to live, and I truly just want to show up the way I want other people to show up. So living this holistically perfect life and saying no to fun plans and just living in a bubble overall just made me more frustrated and somewhat angry because I would see other people living a more free, carefree life. Now I want to talk about the difference between discipline and orthorexia. I think that having discipline in your life is healthy, and I think that it's healthy to keep promises to yourself, and I think having discipline will lead to overall fulfillment, but being completely obsessed with being perfect and eating the cleanest foods and basically stressing yourself out every single day about being perfect and eating clean and holistic can actually do a lot of damage to your health. So what is the definition of holistic? Characterized by the belief that the parts of something are interconnected and can be explained only by reference to the whole. So narrowly focusing just on diet to help heal our bodies is just not effective. If we solely rely on food to save us and neglect the forces of spirit, we are lost. The truth is that we can only heal if we find balance in between all aspects of our being. So does this mean that I go out and eat pizza and burgers and candy all the time? No. Hot Cheetos used to be my absolute favorite snack ever, and I haven't touched a bag of hot Cheetos in I don't know how long, and that is insane to say. That's just because the truth is I feel healthiest and my best when I eat healthy foods. But there are definitely days where I have my boyfriend or my friends ask me, hey, do you want to get tacos one night? Or hey, do you want to check out this new restaurant? And I go because I want to, and I'm not so obsessed with eating the cleanest all of the time. Some days I crave a chicken salad at a restaurant, and some days I crave a burger and fries. But overall, if I know that I have the intention of just wanting to go and spend time with my friends or my boyfriend or whoever it is that wants to go out to dinner, I'm gonna go because I want to, and I'm not gonna restrict myself. Or maybe I'm just craving a pizza or something, and instead of going out and buying it, I actually make it at home and I make a healthier version, and it makes me feel good too. I found that when I have full balance in my life and give myself grace to have the full experience of life, my health thrives at its best. I have peace knowing that I fully respect myself and I can keep promises to myself while also enjoying the full experience of life and going out to dinner with my friends whenever I want to. The moral of me sharing this with you is to tell you that it's okay to not be perfect, to not use everything clean, to not make all of your meals from scratch, whether that is by choice or maybe it's just because you can't afford everything clean and everything organic. It's just important to know that as long as you're making a conscious effort to live healthier every single day and to make better choices 80 to 90% of the time, you're doing great, and I'm proud of you. Find the balance that works for you in your life and maybe your family's life, and just don't forget to neglect the other pieces of your health, like relationships, finding your passion, your spiritual connection, and your physical exercise. There's a lot more I could say about that, but just know that finding balance in between all of these areas in your life, you're gonna find fulfillment, you're gonna find better health, and you're gonna find healing. Not only that, but living in this way is just so much more sustainable than putting yourself in a box and basically putting on this perfect facade and pressuring yourself to be perfect in all of the ways. Literally nobody is perfect, and I guarantee that the fitness and the health influencers that you follow don't eat clean all of the time, and they don't have a perfect morning routine every single day, and we all go through just different seasons in our life. Thank you guys for listening to this rant. It's just something that's been on my mind, and I feel like it's something that needs to be talked about because literally nobody is perfect, and I don't want people to think that they have to live this perfect life to achieve happiness and fulfillment. Let me know what you guys thought about this conversation in the comments, and feel free to ask me any questions about this, and let me know what you guys would like me to talk about in the future.